The Kryn Empire had conquered 47 star systems without mercy. Their crystalline warships tore through defenses like razors through silk. Their soldiers showed no fear, no hesitation, no emotion whatsoever. They were the perfect conquerors, engineered over millennia to feel nothing but the cold satisfaction of victory. When they arrived at Earth, humanity had barely mastered interstellar travel. The war lasted 3 months. Commander Zekthor stood in the medical bay of the conquered human colony on Proxima Station, observing the dissection with clinical interest. The human specimen before him was still alive, kept conscious by Kryn technology as their bioengineers extracted his heart. Fascinating. The lead surgeon clicked through his translator. The organ is remarkably inefficient, yet the human fights to protect it with irrational desperation. The human's name was Marcus Chen. He was 26 years old, a cargo pilot who had stayed behind to evacuate civilians. His wife and daughter had made it onto the last transport. He had not. "Please," Marcus whispered, tears streaming down his face. "Please don't." Zekthor tilted his head. "Your words lack meaning. It is merely an organ. We will study it and discard the rest of you. This serves the Empire." "You don't understand," Marcus's voice cracked. "That heart, it carried everything. Every time my daughter laughed, every time my wife smiled at me across the breakfast table, every sunset I watched, every friend I buried, every hope I had for tomorrow." The Kryn didn't comprehend. They had no concept of love, no understanding of the metaphorical weight humans placed on that specific organ. To them, it was simply inefficient biology. They extracted Marcus Chen's heart and added it to their collection. His body was incinerated. The data was filed away. The message reached Earth 3 days later. The Kryn expected surrender. They had left humanity broken, scattered across a dozen refugee stations. Earth's military was decimated. Their industrial capacity was shattered. By every logical measure, humanity was defeated. They didn't account for rage. Fleet Admiral Sarah Okonkwo stood before the remnants of humanity's military command. Her eyes were red from crying, but her voice was steel. "They took Marcus Chen's heart," she said quietly. "They took it while he was alive, while he begged them to stop. They took it because they don't understand what a heart means to us." She looked at each officer in turn. "They think we're defeated. They think we'll calculate the odds and surrender. But they made one critical mistake. They don't understand that humans don't just think with our brains. We feel with our hearts. And when you break a human's heart, when you rip it out and mock what it means to her fist slammed on the table, you get fire." The Kryn had never encountered an enemy that fought with fury instead of logic. They had never faced opponents who would sacrifice everything for the memory of one man. They had never seen warriors who screamed the names of their dead as they charged into impossible odds. Humanity stripped every civilian ship for parts. They converted mining equipment into weapons. They took agricultural stations and turned them into ammunition factories. Every human who could hold a weapon volunteered. Those who couldn't gave everything they had to those who could. The counterattack began 6 months after Marcus Chen died. The Kryn's first outpost fell in 17 minutes, the second in 12. By the time they realized humanity was coming, it was too late to prepare. Captain Rivera piloted her fighter straight into a Kryn capital ship's reactor core, screaming Marcus Chen's name. Dr. Yamada, age 63, flew a medical transport loaded with explosives into a Kryn command center. The Tanaka family, all 4 generations, crewed a destroyer that took down 6 enemy vessels before it finally exploded. The Kryn couldn't understand it. Their simulations had predicted humanity would need decades to recover. Their analysis had shown total victory, but their calculations hadn't included grief. Their equations hadn't accounted for love. "They're not fighting to win," Zekthor reported to the High Command, confusion evident even through his artificial voice. "They're fighting to hurt us. They sacrifice valuable assets for minimal tactical gain. It's irrational." The High Commander's response was clinical. "Continue defensive operations. Their resources must eventually deplete." But humanity's resources weren't measured in ships or weapons. They were measured in hearts full of memory and rage. The final battle took place above the Kryn homeworld. Humanity had 23 ships remaining. The Kryn had 300. By every calculation, humanity should have retreated. Admiral Okonkwo gave the order to advance. "For Marcus Chen," she said. "For every human who loved someone. For every heart they thought was just biology. The ships dove forward. What the Kryn learned that day was written into a warning broadcast to every species in the galaxy. Humans are individually fragile. Their technology is adequate. Their military doctrine is standard. But if you take what they love, if you break their hearts and think it means nothing, they will show you that a heart is not just an organ. It's a weapon. It's fuel. It's the reason they fight when fighting is illogical. It's why they win when winning is impossible. The Kryn Empire lasted 2,000 years. It fell in 18 months after they extracted one human's heart. In the Memorial Garden on New Earth, there's a statue of Marcus Chen. His daughter, now grown, visits it every year. She places her hand over the carved heart on his chest and remembers her father's laugh. The galaxy remembers too. They remember the fire, and they never forget what it cost to light it. The end.